Wait, you should hear me now. Can you hear me now? Are we good? I think we are good. I was saying I prepared everything perfectly, and then when it came time to actually start the stream, my camera stopped working. And I always remember why I stopped streaming on Twitch so regularly is because there would be always something that would go wrong. Like, shit just never goes right on stream. But I think we're good. What up, Nick? Hi, Sam. Hi, Name. It's a good name. Good to see you guys. Get everything situated here. There we go. My day's going pretty good. I've been excited for this all day. Been getting a lot of work done. Been trying to be productive. Trying to wrap up some things so that I can start traveling again, which I'm really excited to do. Even though I don't really know where I'm going to go just yet, I do want to talk to you guys about some fun ideas I have for upcoming zines and projects. So that's fun. Beautiful sunny day here in Las Vegas. The cacti are blooming, which is really nice. How's your day going? Is the music volume versus my voice volume fine? Let's see how this looks. Nice. Okay, I can fix that a little bit. Wanted to have the chat box here, but I don't know if that's a good idea. No, it's not. I'm just gonna move that back over. So welcome to today's read-along. I know it's been a while since we've done one of these, but I've been very busy with very unpleasant things. I feel bad for not being around so much, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes life gets a little tough. What can you do besides just suck it up? I'm looking at my camera. Maybe it'll work now. Hold on, let me just try one more time. It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, everything was working flawlessly. Let's try this. Webcam. Sony. God, fuck you, Sony. Worthless, bro. I'm so pissed. I got everything set up all cute, but whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Make sure my settings are all good. So today's a read along. We're going to read the last zine, Where East Becomes West. I have a digital version of it, which all of you have access to if you are a paid member of Patreon, whether you are a shareholder, a Zine Club subscriber, or a sponsor. You have access to all of the PDF versions of the zines. I feel like a lot of people still, even now, don't know what a zine actually is. And a zine is a little magazine. It's like a magazine without the MAGA part. Not like Trump MAGA. Just like, it's like half a magazine. It's supposed to be very lo-fi, low effort, you know, kind of like you make it yourself is the whole vibe of it. It's not supposed to be a super polished book. So like mine have surpassed what a zine technically should be by definition, because they've turned into entire photo projects with a ton of production that goes into them, which is pretty cool. Like, now that we're on number 10, it's really cool to look back and see how far we've come, because when you read the first zine, you're like, wow, this fucking sucks. And then it gets a little bit better every time. And I would say I really hit my stride around Zine 3, where I realized the potential of what I could actually do with these projects. You know, the reality of what I've got going on hit me, and I started to really try to take that $15 a month and stretch it to see how far I could really take it, almost literally in terms of how far, because these zines have now taken me quite literally all around the world. And that was the whole theme of zine number 9, where East Becomes West, a journey around the earth. I always wanted to just like go in one direction, and just keep going and come back from the other side of the planet. That was something that I always wanted to do. And it was just a really appropriate time to say, fuck it, and just go. I only planned the first 2 countries, and that was Spain and Turkey. And from there, I just kind of winged it. I ended up going to Egypt, of course, then South Korea, then Thailand, Hong Kong, and back home. So I hit 6 countries in 60 days, and it was quite the journey. This whole photo book is told through the lens of screenshots from my WhatsApp and my iMessage about what was going on behind the scenes while I was doing this trip. I was coordinating evacuations from Gaza. So this was before the Zionists invaded Rafah, and people were still able to evacuate. So this was just chronicling what that was like and what that looked like behind the scenes. Coordinating evacuations. It was a very stressful thing, like one of the worst things I've ever had to do. It was one of the most unpleasant things so far. And that's what was going on behind the scenes. So I was kind of doing the trip to run away from reality, but there was still quite a lot of reality happening, unfortunately, while I was working on the project. Alrighty, let's start the read along, huh? I like the cover here. It took me a really long time to design a cover, because usually I would just go with a photo. I would literally just use a photo from the trip and be like, title, done. But there wasn't really one photo that could encompass a truly around the world trip. So I combined all of these waterfront scenes from the first, the middle, and the last stop. So that's New York City, Istanbul, and Hong Kong. I noticed that I took very similar waterfront skyline photos that I merged together in Photoshop to make a cool shot under the bridge here from Brooklyn looking into Manhattan. And it's been really fun to get creative with stuff like this. I learned something new in the print world every time I make a book. It's really fun, whether it's finding new ways to use fonts, new ways to block letters around images, new ways to use Photoshop to combine images. It's been a really fun learning process. Anywho, let's get this. This is not right. Hold up. Let me get this lined up. There we go. I think that's too zoomed in. Hold up. I swear to God, I actually did prepare all of this. That's pretty good. That way I'm not covering up any of the page. No. I need a tiny bit more space. There we go. All right. So this is it opens up with photos. These are my family members that we evacuated from Gaza. Now I guess I could say early into the war. It wasn't that early. I mean, not for them. It was definitely a long time that they were waiting. But this is my uncle on my dad's side and his wife and his daughters and their kids. We had to pay $10,000 per adult and $5,000 per child to evacuate them from the Gaza Strip. We live in Gaza City in North Gaza, and into into Egypt. So it was, if you donated to the GoFundMes that I was doing during this time, this is exactly what those GoFundMes were for. We even were doing Venmo and a lot of just direct like bank transfers just to get money as quickly as possible, to evacuate people as quickly as possible. It was a very complicated process to actually get people out of Gaza. You don't just pay and then leave. Like, you have to have cash, American dollars cash, that you took to an agency called Hella in Egypt, and you had to be like crisp new hundreds even. It was very stressful, and like you had to just give them $10,000 per adult and $5,000 per child. You had to have a first degree family member registering them with Hella, and then they had to survive 45 more days after that in order to get a permit in order to actually leave Gaza. So we evacuated a few more people after this. Oh, someone has. Oh, that's so funny. You were looking for me on Twitch. Yeah, Patreon streams are always on or whatever the fuck this is called, YouTube, because I can make this private. Otherwise, it's just everyone is allowed on Twitch. I can't limit it to patrons only. Oopsie. I said it on the thing. This is on YouTube. It's okay. No worries. No worries at all. So this is my cousin on the bottom. This is my cousin Abdurrahman. We have the same name. We're both named after my grandpa. And it was the first time we were able to meet, which was really special. I always wanted to meet him. And we've been friends through social media, but he was never allowed to leave Gaza, and I was never allowed to enter Gaza since he was born. So I ended up taking him with me to southern Egypt to go see all the temples and ancient Egyptian ruins and sites, because he had never done like any of this fun stuff. He had never been on a train or an airplane or a hot air balloon. Like that picture, we're actually in a hot air balloon at a very high altitude at that point. And this was towards the end of our sunrise. And this was Eid. So it was the day after Ramadan, celebrating Eid. And it was really special to be able to do that with him. In a hot air balloon over Luxor, Egypt. Really, really cool. So the first page, this shit took me this took me longer than anything else on the zine. For this one, where East Becomes West, and for the next zine, it took me forever, because this is usually the first page. It's an update. You know, how's things going? Usually it's so easy, and I'm like so excited to update everyone. But this was really tough for me. So, I feel like I'm gonna cry reading it, but I cried last time. I'm gonna try not to this time. Sup, y'all? I've sat here and stared at this page for probably 3 weeks now. I typed it out once or twice, but it was too depressing, so I deleted it and started anew. This time I filled out the rest of the book first, then came back here. It's been very difficult to find words. Turning your life into your job is pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's provided me with amazing opportunities and allowed me to grow rapidly as an artist. Coolest of all, it's allowed me to sit here and compose my 9th photo book. 9 books where I get to plan, execute, edit, lay out, print, and ship to my subscribers with total creative freedom. That's like 400 pages of books so far. Lucky me. Lucky you too, TBH. Unfortunately, life hasn't been so kind to my family and I lately, which puts me in a weird spot with my online community that I've built over the years. Yes, you. How do I stay fun to be around? How do I stay positive and excited all the time? You know, the Abdul that people followed and actively support. I did a pretty good job for a while, but 10 months into the extermination of my people, and I'm not doing so great. The last few months of my life have been pretty insane. As soon as the last book started shipping, I kissed Anna on the cheek and said bye. I bought a one-way ticket to New York City and a ticket to Spain. I was going to head east and keep heading east until east became west, and I came back from the other side of the planet. I just wanted to get as far away from here as possible, even if I didn't really know where here was. I knew a few things I wanted to see and do, so I was excited at the prospect of such an open-ended journey. I naively thought that by the time I got back around, everything will be okay. Surely, right? Psych, homie. Real life isn't that romantic. Wait, fix your stream I got in Patreon isn't working. Oh shit, maybe the Patreon link isn't updated. Thanks for the heads up. Let me go fix that real quick. Oh, let me finish reading the first page. Or wait, no, I should fix it, then read the first page. Sorry. Hold up. I was wondering why you were calling me. I'm like, bro, I'm on stream. I can't talk right now. I'm busy. Let me try fixing this link for everybody else. Copy. Patreon. Edit the post. Wait, no, it is working, bro. I'm on the Patreon right now. It's working. I see it. I see the thing. Wait, no, it is working, bro. I'm on the Patreon. No, you're wrong. Oops. No, you're wrong. It works. Freaked me out, bro. I was like, how could I fuck up so many things? Anyway, to continue. Circumnavigating the globe sounds awesome. It was. But what I was sharing online versus what was happening behind the scenes was wildly different. On Instagram, I'm climbing minarets in Cairo, eating mangoes in Thailand, or doing photo shoots in Hong Kong. I was still actively raising money and awareness online throughout all of this, of course, but nobody had any clue what went down when the camera was off. Coordinating massive fundraising campaigns, managing lists of families in Gaza, trying to prioritize who to help, getting constant calls and voice notes of people begging for help while hearing drones buzzing overhead, transferring large sums of cash to unsafe places, trusting shady agencies with said large sums of cash, trying to find ambulances for transport, trying to reunite families, trying to find evacuees a place to live and food to eat in a foreign to them countries. It's been the most challenging time of my life so far. Through this zine, you'll see what it was like behind the scenes as this otherwise amazing journey around the earth unfolded. Nobody signed up for a Sad Girl album, but I guess that's not how it works. I love y'all. You know, that one wasn't so sad. The one before was way sadder. I've been really struggling with words on these. Big time. So much so that the next zine, the one that's going to be shipping very soon, I didn't even write anything in it. It's a book of Palestinian poetry. So because I just don't have the words to really express myself creatively, I used my photos and supplemented them with famous Palestinian poems, because poetry is the premier artwork in Arabic culture, and there have been many other Palestinians who have expressed themselves through words better than I ever can, so I thought it was a good opportunity to change it up. Howdy. Good to see y'all. So first stop was NYC, and this whole story is told through screenshots of WhatsApp messages as I try to coordinate these evacuations with various different groups. So, lots of long voice messages going back and forth. Here I'm just saying, yeah, this makes sense. Thanks so much for coordinating. I'm with my uncle now explaining. I really played translator a lot in the midst of all this. And then I follow up with, I feel a lot of stress over choosing who to help. That was the hardest part by far, is so many people are begging for help. People are calling me, and I can hear drones buzzing overhead. I could hear explosions in the background. I could hear gunshots. It's just a terrifying circumstance, and I have to keep my head on straight and coordinate and be as smart and strategic about this as possible in the midst of all of these feelings. Some photos from NYC. Seeing my friends in New York was exactly what I needed to start this trip strong. I'm pretty sure everyone here in this photo is actually a Patreon subscriber. What a blessing that all my friends are so supportive. It's just some black and white film from New York City. That's the bridge at Dumbo that looks into Manhattan, and the obelisk outside of the Met. That's a real Egyptian obelisk outside of the Met that was heavily weathered from the rainy and snowy weather of New York. It's quite unfortunate how damaged it is, but I took a picture of the better side of it. And then photos of me at the Met in front of Hatshepsut, which is my favorite pharaoh. And that's just an amazing museum. If you ever have a chance to visit the Met in New York, they have the best Egyptian collection in all of North America. And the Brooklyn Museum, if you're interested in Egyptology, don't miss the Brooklyn Museum. There's way fewer people there. The crowds are basically non-existent at the Brooklyn Museum, and they have an exceptional Egyptian antiquities collection. Exceptional. One of the best I've ever seen. So more of the text messages to kind of show you what was going on at this stage. Someone just saying, this is my friend who I was coordinating with. There's $50,000 coming over in cash via 5 different people, all friends, between April 14th to 16th, specifically for registering names at Yahala. So 50,000, that could do 5 adults. For example, it's usually not 5 adults, but it's 10,000 per adult, 5,000 per child to evacuate people from Gaza. So it was like very fucking stressful because that's a shit ton of money. From that part of family, $60K coming in total, but $10K is going to someone's parents. So basically we had some of the funds that were already allocated for certain names, and then whoever we could get out the fastest and most effectively is how we would allocate those funds, and you'll see a little bit more of that later. Let us know which relatives will be evacuating, their names and their ages, because once again there's a cutoff for age on how much the price goes up. Is he familiar with the process? Will he register the names himself? Will he be able to work with my friends as they arrive to make sure the money is safely going where it needs to go? This is the type of coordination we were trying to do. And as I said, once Rafah was invaded, all of this stopped. Everyone's been trapped in Gaza since. This shit was so traumatic to go back and read the texts. Like, I'm smiling about it now, but I shit you not. I was literally here in my office going back through my WhatsApp to take these screenshots and just fucking sobbing because like it was so traumatic to go back and relive trying to save people's lives. Like when I started Patreon or Twitter or any of my socials, it was never supposed to be this fucking serious, man. You know what I mean? Like I know this isn't what you signed up for. It was never meant to be this serious. There was never supposed to be life and death involved in what we were doing here, but it was, and my community stuck with me, and we were able to save a lot of lives. Like we literally saved about 20 people's lives because of you guys, which is pretty crazy. It was never supposed to be this serious, but it became that serious, and we handled it as best as we could. Alhamdulillah. So here is photos. The photos start from Spain. This was my first international destination, and I was here to work on an upcoming photo project for a zine that is nowhere near done yet, but it's for Islamic art. And the south of Spain, Andalusia, is full of beautiful Islamic art because the Islamic Empire, the Moors specifically of North Africa, invaded Spain and actually took over Spain for a long time. So the south of Spain specifically is rich with Islamic art. And then there you see my Turkish Airlines Istanbul to Madrid ticket. That's my actual boarding pass that I scanned in. And I saw Palestine flags all over Spain. It was amazing. Spain has been really supportive of Gaza, and they actually recognized Palestine as a state pretty recently. So it's pretty cool. My impact. So there's more of the texts here. Update. My cousin, I blacked out the names because I didn't know if I could be like putting them in danger or anything like that. So I blacked out the names. This is my cousin Ahmed, though. It doesn't matter. Ahmed wants to evacuate his parents. They would be traveling to Rafah alone because it's too dangerous for men his age. Many of my cousins were kidnapped by the Zionist army, and some of them were never seen again because they just assume that if you're a fighting age man that you are a resistance fighter. So they just count it towards their like totals. So it's extremely dangerous for them to leave the house. So we just sent his parents alone. It only takes one person traveling with $10K to evacuate 2 adults. That price ended up changing later. So it ended up the prices changed a lot throughout this. It was extremely frustrating. Actually, it was extortion. Like these fees are 100% extortion. Like we knew that, but it's either be extorted or have your family be killed. That was the choice we were forced to do. So at this point, 10K was so it was 5K per adult. I know multiple people traveling with that amount this month. So if this family of 15 is okay with being broken up temporarily as more people with more money come over, God, this is also fucked up. Ahmed's mother is very sick. I'm sure you know he's very worried about her. We've ended up finding out that she actually has cancer, and she's actually in the hospital right now in Egypt. We did successfully evacuate her. And like in that longer text there, you see the reality of how fucked up the whole situation is, right? Like breaking up families. We even evacuated at one point. It's not in the book. We didn't evacuate them. We paid to evacuate an orphan with my cousin, one of my cousins and his families, because that orphan's entire family was killed, and it was one of our neighbors. So my cousin ended up just taking him in. You know, there's no like orphanage, there's no paperwork, there's no government involved. They just went and like took this kid because his family was killed. And this is what we were dealing with, of like breaking families up. Sending the women and children and leaving the men behind sometimes, which is extremely dangerous because, as I said, the men are just counted as resistance fighters, even if they've never fought back, even if they've never even said anything against the occupation, they can be counted as resistance fighters. So that's just the reality of it. We were trying to evacuate and prioritize who to evacuate. Photos from the right here. I happened to be in Spain the week leading up to Easter, which is a very, very holy month for Catholics, for European Catholics especially, and it's called Semana Santa, or the Holy Week. Being in Spain for Semana Santa, or the Holy Week leading up to Easter, was fascinating. Catholics, I have to move this briefly. Catholics in Europe are so dramatic, and I absolutely loved it. The costumes, the music, the drama. I didn't know this was such a good time to be in the country, but immediately realized that fucking camera's annoying. When I came across processions in the traditional capriote hood, which is suspiciously clan-like. Turns out the clan ripped off this idea. Can't blame them, they're pretty fucking cool. Even though they hate Catholics, which is kind of hilarious because they just basically hate everybody. I'm not endorsing, we are not endorsing the clan on this channel. It's just funny to me that they stole the idea, but were like, yeah, fuck Catholics. So each brotherhood, and there are many different churches with different brotherhoods, even within the same church, has different colored outfits, and this one here is the perfect shade of purple. I tweeted this and called them the Abdul Klux Klan, and people got pissed, and I had to delete it so I don't get canceled. But I think I could say that safely here. Isn't that just the most perfect Abdul purple? Like, if I had a cult, this would be the outfit. Just straight up copy it. Absolutely stunning details. If you really look closely, I don't know if you can tell, but if you have the book, you can look, and it's like a velvety material with beautiful floral designs in it. It's just stunning. So they're called brotherhoods, but I did notice that there were a lot of women and even young girls participating in these processions. Very beautiful. Like, truly one of the coolest things. I can show you videos later. One of the coolest things I've ever witnessed while traveling in terms of a cultural event. I got to Cordoba, Spain, and literally within 5 minutes of leaving and my hotel and walking around, someone gave me this Stop the Genocide postcard. It's not a it is a postcard. They gave these out so that constituents can send them to their elected representatives with a note saying that, like, we stand against the genocide in Gaza. So it was just really interesting getting there, and then within literally, I shit you not, 5 to 10 minutes tops of going into like the tourist area, someone handed me that, and I was like, oh, okay, I agree. Bottom left photo here, the famous Cathedral Mosque of Cordoba. This is a amazing mix of architectures. It was built by Abdurrahman I. I'm Abdurrahman II. In the what do they call it? Whatever the Islamic Empire of Spain was called. It was like the Caliphate of Andalusia, I believe. And when the Reconquista happened and the Catholics took over Spain again, they essentially decolonized it. They built onto the mosque and turned it into a cathedral. So you're going to see this pattern a couple of times throughout this book, where conquest happens and then they change what the famous site is. So this one became a cathedral and then a museum later. And on the right here of that is a schedule with each brotherhood represented as an adorable little cartoon, and it shows which procession and then the corresponding color of capriote that each brotherhood was going to be presenting during their procession. Walking through the beautiful citrus gardens. This is a minaret turned bell tower. So you're going to see this theme a lot. So this used to be where you would do the call to prayer at the mezquita, or the mosque. And it became a bell tower once this became a cathedral. and then just some beautiful purple plants. And you could see the Islamic, this is in Granada, this bottom right, and you can see those arches. That's a very Moorish style art. And once you read this book and you start looking at Moorish style art, and especially once I finish the Islamic art book, you're going to be able to look and know how to differentiate different styles of Islamic art. Maybe you'll see a minaret and say, oh, that is an Ottoman style Turkish minaret, or that is a Mamluk style Egyptian minaret. That's my goal, is for you guys to be able to identify various forms of Islamic art and architecture based off of geography, just by looking at it. So I'm really working hard on that Islamic art zine. Hi, Ash. From Spain, I continued on to Istanbul to build on my Islamic art project. It was a dream to finally see Ottoman-style architecture in person, which is basically just Byzantine architecture with minarets. But don't tell your Turkish friends I said that. It's true. It's high-key true. There's no Turks in here, right? I don't think I have any patrons from Turkey, so we're good here. It's low-key just Ottoman, or it's low-key just Byzantine architecture. With the domes especially. And that's funny because this is what we think of when we think of Islamic art now, is the domes with the minarets, but that's low-key a Byzantine Christian art style. And that has happened a lot through history. Like Gothic architecture actually came from Islamic architecture, so there's some European that's inspired by Islamic architecture, and then vice versa. We have a lot more in common and a lot more intersecting art forms than most people think. On the right here is Ortaköy Mosque, just north of Istanbul. One of the most beautiful mosques I've ever seen. Like, that is just a stunning... Look at that design. Look how intricate the art is, the sculptures around the edges of each arch. And the light was hitting it just right. This was while I was on a boat on a Bosphorus River cruise. And the Bosphorus River is the river that separates Asia from Europe. So if you look to the right, you have Asia. If you look to the left, assuming you're going north, you have Europe. And that's a very common touristy thing to do in Istanbul, and I would encourage you to do so, especially the sunset tour. That's how you get a beautiful shot like this. This was shot on Portra 400 Kodak film, so that golden tone is just hitting the spot. Kind of saw those combinations a lot in Greece too. Ancient Greek temples became Byzantine churches, which became Ottoman mosques that are now Orthodox churches. Yep, absolutely. The story of conquest shows you how unoriginal humans can really be, right? Where they're just like, yeah, this is good. Put some minarets on it and we're good. But I think it's cool because, like, obviously now there's no animosity. No one's like, oh, fucking Byzantine Romans, fuck those guys. It's just like, oh yeah, we don't really remember them as the Eastern Roman Empire. I don't like the Byzantines, honestly. So I'm the only one who would be like, yeah, fuck the Byzantines. But I don't like any of the empires, really, except the Egyptians. More from Turkey. The colors on this spread really hit the spot for me, especially the market shots here on the left. And the way I styled this page, it's kind of on the nose, but there's all the prices for all of the things in the market. And then there's the prices for evacuating people from a genocide. So it's like a pretty fucked up juxtaposition of just buying, like, trafficking people, essentially. We're not human trafficking. Strike that from the record. But, like, moving people and putting prices on them as if they were merchandise is what it felt like. And it's so fucked up, but it's how it was. So here, what is the final tally of people and the amount of money needed? So at this point, prices were $5,000 per adult, and half of that, $2,500 per child. So Muhammad says it's 6 total. I have the names blacked out just for their privacy. So we needed $10,000 for 2 of the adults, and then all kids, another $10,000. So that's $20,000 to evacuate 6 people. $20,000, guys. So, as I said previously, if you pitched into the Venmo or the GoFundMes that I was listing at this time, this is what that money went towards. It went directly towards this. Also, your Patreon money went towards this. The print shop money, everything was going towards this. Our savings, like our family depleted our savings trying to rescue as many of our family members as possible. This was a fucking nightmare scenario. And I follow up here. I say, however, the major issue is Tariq. Just doxed my friend or my cousin's husband. His injury is so severe that Muhammad doesn't think we can get him out without an ambulance. Part of the reason this has been so difficult, I keep hearing different things every time I talk to him. I sincerely apologize for passing on to you. Muhammad says it is not viable to evacuate him with Hala. Tariq his leg was destroyed in an airstrike. So a piece of shrapnel hit him below the knee and completely destroyed his leg, but there was no hospital to take him to because the Zionists bombed all of the hospitals in their neighborhood. They're from Jabalia in the very north of Gaza, and they destroyed all of the hospitals. So he just had no recourse. Like, there was nothing we could do, and we could not evacuate him without an ambulance. But putting him in an ambulance also put a target on him because they also drone strike the ambulances. So it was a very shitty situation, and he ended up not getting evacuated until actually when there was a brief ceasefire just like a month ago. We actually got two pieces of good news, and one of them was actually that Tariq and his wife and kids were evacuated from Gaza. So he lost his leg, but he's alive, alhamdulillah. This is a fucked up zine. I'm sorry I did this to you guys. I feel bad for like passing on the negative vibes, but like, what are you gonna do? If you're an artist, your job is to express yourself, and this is just what was happening. Turkey was pretty beautiful, man. Seeing the Ottoman architecture, I only went to Istanbul. I need to go back to Turkey and see more of it. I'm dying to see Göbekli Tepe, Cappadocia, and the Turkish Riviera, I believe they call it, which is the southern coast, and there's a lot of beautiful beaches and stuff there. I thought Turkey was mostly fun for the shopping, just absolutely excellent shopping. And if you're ever looking to just go buy knockoff bags, especially like Anna got a YSL knockoff that our friend who works at the YSL boutique said it looks more YSL than YSL looks. Like, and it's actually very premium leather and hardware. They're not cheap. You know, they're still like, for a master copy, as they call it, you're still going to pay like $200-$300, but that's still a zero off of what you would be paying for the name brand. You know, if a $2,500 bag is now a $250 bag, that's a 10x savings. So it's still pretty good. The shopping for clothes is pretty good. Fragrances, I liked Turkey for that. I think I'd rather go to Morocco if I were shopping for like rugs or clothes, though, specifically, just so you know. Istanbul is known, of course, for its famous cats. This cat on the left side here is, I was one of maybe 100 people taking a photo of this cutie. You know, maybe less, not 100 people, like 20 people. And it was funny because to the left is the gateway to the Grand Bazaar, the Istanbul Grand Bazaar, which is like one of the premier tourist destinations. But everyone's, instead of taking a photo of the iconic gate, is like over here taking a photo of this cute cat. Asking a stranger to take a photo of me in the mosque. I went to a different mosque for every prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day. I would go to a different mosque for every prayers just to take photos for the Islamic art zine and just to experience what it was like to be in Istanbul and see the mosques there. A real Egyptian obelisk also in Turkey. So that's 2 obelisks in this book so far. One in New York City, one in Istanbul. I think when it was taken to Turkey, though, it was Constantinople. So just so you know. And an update here in the conversation. The main issue is that the injured man, Tariq, can't be evacuated with Hala. He needs an ambulance to get him from the north because his leg is completely destroyed. What other options are there for getting him out? If we can't get him in an ambulance, I don't think we can help him. I don't know what to do. They sent me photos of his injury. It's very, very bad. I really wish I didn't see so many of these injuries because I was like, guys, I believe you. You don't have to show me. Like, I believe you. Your boy has seen some pretty horrific things in the last couple years, or year and a half now. Saw lots of Palestinian flags flying around in Turkey as well. And this is the trolley that just goes through the main large shopping street. It's a huge shopping street. It goes for like a mile and a half, and the trolley will take you back and forth. Egypt! You know how hard it was for me to not make this book entirely Egypt? I took so many photos in Egypt, as I always do. I love Egypt. I'm going to try to go back this winter, inshallah. I finally went to southern Egypt to see all of the temples and ancient Egyptian sites. You know, I usually only go to Cairo to see my family. The only real good sites near Cairo are the pyramids. There are no pyramids down south, but there are all of the temples in the south. So I got to go test my knowledge. I've been studying Egyptology very seriously now up until this point for about 2 years. I've been teaching myself to read and write hieroglyphs, teaching myself the chronology of Egyptian history, of dynastic Egypt's history, and learning to be like the ultimate Egyptology nerd. So to go there and be able to see something and immediately identify it was incredibly rewarding. It felt like a final exam for myself because I had been studying so passionately for years up until this point that I could go up to anything and read it. And I had such a rewarding moment when I was at Karnak. I was there really early to avoid the crowds, and I was teaching my cousin Abdurrahman how to read hieroglyphs. And I was showing him a cartouche with a pharaoh's name in it. And a tour guide, an old guy, came up to me and in Arabic goes, "Can you read that?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Read this part." He like pointed out a random part, and I read it, and it said Merneptah, which was the name of a pharaoh. And he was like, "How did you learn to do that?" And I told him I taught myself. And then he went and like got his group, and then was like, "This guy taught himself to read, and he can read right off of these walls." And I was like, "Oh my God." And then everyone started clapping. They didn't actually clap. But that was a pretty cool moment because I felt very fulfilled. You know what I mean? That like I did a good job. Have I ever been to Siwa? Yes. I went in 2021 with Anna and our good friend Andres. We went to Siwa Oasis. This is 9 hours west of Cairo by bus, and it is basically on the border of Libya. And it's an oasis in the desert. If you have book 3, Zine 3, Watani, there are photos from Siwa. And if you don't have Zine 3, you can download the PDF. Look at the pinned page or the pinned post on Patreon. Pinned post on Patreon. And you can read that. This is my favorite photo of myself literally ever, sitting on the Great Pyramid of Khufu, really demonstrating the scale of the Great Pyramid, showing just how large each individual block is. You know, if I'm standing up to that block, it is to my shoulders about. So that's pretty huge. I think a lot of people don't really understand the scale, and I've always wanted a photo exactly like this. And my cousin Minna took this photo of me, and I love it forever. I was like, this is getting a full page in the zine. I wouldn't usually do that of a photo of myself. I feel actually pretty self-conscious of putting photos of myself in the zine because it feels like people aren't like, they don't want to see you, bro. Like they want to see the photos you take, even though people tell me the opposite. But like I want it to be a book about my art, not about me. But this one is about me. This page is about me, and I'm pretty sure it's in the center of the book. So if you like just suddenly open the book, it goes straight for that. These are the Eid celebrations. So this was the first day of Eid al-Fitr. And I really love the photo on the bottom here. These are kids eating kushari, which is Egypt's national dish. And you can tell they're Egyptian by their hair. We have a very specific hair texture. And when I was a kid, like I was ashamed of it because it's very curly. And like it doesn't look like any other people's hair that I've ever seen. So I used to always be self-conscious of it. But seeing all of these kids with like very visibly Egyptian hair looking down, eating kushari on the Nile was very, I don't know the word, but it touched me. And I was like, yeah, these are my people. Like, It was just a cute picture. And then the kid noticed me on the left and started to wave at me as I took photos. But like there's no more Egyptian of a photo. Seeing that Egyptian hair and eating kushari, which is Egypt's national dish, and they're on a boat on the Nile. Come on, it doesn't get more Egypt than that. This is the marketplace in Luxor. Returning to Egypt was a roller coaster of emotion. Seeing the family members we were able to evacuate from Gaza for the first time in 5 wars was surreal. Meeting my cousins that I've been separated from due to the blockade for the first time, coordinating more evacuations, spending entire days at Western Union or banks in Cairo, trusting strangers with huge sums of cash, having so many lives in my hands, visiting my childhood neighborhood, favorite monuments, etc., etc. Lots of feelings all at once. It was the best, but also the worst, mostly the best. And then an update through texts here. I spoke to Muhammad, and he has had no luck on acquiring an ambulance for transport. I stressed to him that if we don't find one, we're going to have to move down the list for the next family. This was the toughest thing ever. To tell a family, we can't help you. We need to move on to the next name on the list and evacuate someone else, and you have to stay in the cage under the airstrikes, was extremely difficult. Like that was a very difficult conversation to have. Because people would say things like, well, why don't you just give us the money, and then once we can do something, then we'll pay and leave. But we don't know if they were ever going to be able to leave. And if we could help someone right now, if we can evacuate someone right now, then we had to prioritize that. And that was extremely difficult. Pretty fucked up. This is residential Cairo. This is the places that tourists don't go. Like nobody has any reason to go here unless they live here. And I was visiting my aunt, so I had a reason to be there. I thought this picture I love the picture on the left. This was actually one of the mystery prints from this run of mystery prints as soon as I got back from this trip. The pastel colors on the Ferris wheel. I would not get in that Ferris wheel if you paid me $1 billion. I would not get in that Ferris wheel. But it looked really cute with the covered cars and the stripes. I love the colors in this picture. Also on film. All of these are. And then these markets, just... That's Egypt. That's real Cairo. Real Cairo. And then an update here from the texts. He said if we can't contact the Red Cross or Red Crescent, there's no helping him. Oh, Tariq is in northern Gaza. I misunderstood. Fuck. And if you've been keeping up with the war, North Gaza was under, the whole of Gaza was under a blockade, but North Gaza was under a very serious siege that was extremely deadly and very difficult to get out of. This fucking picture of me, bro. I'm in a coffin. I'm in a sarcophagus. I was such a brat in Egypt. The right balance of playing dumb and offering low-key tips, aka bribes, allowed me to do some pretty ridiculous things, like pretend to shop for a sarcophagus. Less comfy than it looks, by the way. I just straight up climbed into this ancient sarcophagus until someone yelled at me, because I'd be like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. My bad. It's a lot easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission, because if I asked them if I could do that, they would have told me absolutely not. And I knew that. But you can play dumb and just smile and be cute, and they'll be like, whatever. If you don't hurt anything, you know what I mean? Don't be an ass. Don't damage anything. You know what I mean? Be responsible, but silly. And the screenshot on the bottom, this was my traversal from Egypt. I went from Luxor to Cairo to Istanbul to Seoul, South Korea. I flew so far. I felt like I was in a time warp on this airplane. And I gotta tell you, it was an amazing flight because nobody takes the route from Istanbul to fucking Seoul. I had a row. It was one of those wide body planes. So I had an entire row to myself, and it was broke boy business class. I laid down. I passed out the entire flight. Except when we got over China, because I was looking out the window seeing Beijing, and I was like, oh my God, China. That's a real thing. It's right there. I see it. China Zine soon, man. Yeah, Cairo's not on the on this route because this is only routing the longest flight, and it went from Luxor. So you could see the tickets here on the top middle part here. It says Luxor to Cairo, Cairo to Istanbul, Istanbul to Seoul. That was the actual route. This is just highlighting the longest version, the longest part of that route, the longest leg segment of that route. It was awful, but it was really cool at the same time. Like, that was the most messed up my jet lag has ever been. After spending 2 weeks in Egypt with my family came the longest journey of my life, to be reunited with Anna. So I went to Spain by myself. Anna came to Turkey with me and then went home. I went to Egypt by myself, and then Anna met me in Seoul. So it was really cool because Anna and Bree, our housemate and friend, went to Seoul. They were there for like a week, and then I met them there, and we immediately went from Seoul to Busan. So I did all of these flights, and then I got on a train to Busan. There were no zombies. And it was really cool to be able to meet up with Anna in Turkey and then again in Seoul, because it allowed me to like send stuff home, like a film that I already shot, for example. I could send stuff home, and I could ask her to restock me on things that I may have needed on the journey. So it was almost like a through hike, you know, when people hike the entire Appalachian Trail or something like that, and getting a resupply mission was really awesome. So I went from Luxor to Cairo to Istanbul to Seoul to Busan within a day. Flying over all of Asia was insane. I kept checking the map at first, then it was a whole lot of China. There's so much China. I can't stress this enough. I will do a zine there for sure. There are some dark skies that it would be fun to visit. It's actually way harder to find dark skies in China than I thought. Bye, Sam. Love you. This was my entire travel kit. It was literally just 2 backpacks, a 45 liter and then a 28 liter, even though it's probably closer to like a 22 liter. That's actually a pretty small bag. And outside is sticking out is a papyrus scroll that I bought in Luxor. So you could tell this bag's still pretty empty, the front bag. And I try really hard not to overpack and to be as efficient as possible with my packing so that I can leave room to buy stuff, because I love buying souvenirs and art pieces. So this is a photo from Korea. I really love the variety of photos in this zine. Like, it is such a huge variety because I went to such wildly different places. So this is me dealing with guilt, a lot of guilt. And I say, should we be distributing among different families? That feels like so much to spend on saving just my own. I feel a lot of guilt over this. Do we have any others that we know of directly? I'm sorry if that's weird or... Sorry if that's weird. There's a lot of complicated feelings happening with all this. I just don't want to be selfish during such a difficult time. It's such a privilege to be able to raise money and help save people in the midst of a genocide. And I was feeling extremely guilty about spending like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 on just saving my own family. It felt like immoral in a way. Like, oh, just because my family knows people in the United States that they get this privilege, that's not fair. And it's not. But this wasn't about being fair. This was about trying to save my family. And I had to just like accept it. And it was pretty difficult. But the guilt is really tough to deal with. Besides how depressing that is, I love this photo. I went to I'm going to butcher the name of the palace. But this is like the main big palace in Seoul. And I went at midday because during the Japan zine, I learned that if you go anywhere near sunrise or sunset, if the sun isn't directly overhead, it's impossible to photograph the undersides of these pavilions. And the artwork on the underside is so intricate and beautiful and vibrant. So I went at high noon to get that reflected light back up, and this turned out exactly the way I wanted. This is one of my favorite prints on my shop. It looks great, so it deserved a full spread in the zine. I love this spread. This is from Korea, and the pink spring vibes are immaculate here. Rare photo of Anna made the zine. I scanned in this map that was it's like a large postcard that I got from the hike that we did in Namsan. And these are at the same castle as the previous page. Spring was in full bloom, and it was just a really beautiful spread. I love this spread. This is easily one of my favorites in any of the books. You could see the Seoul skyline from the hike that is in the map above. It's a really beautiful view of the city. And then the left page is the rest of being in Seoul, and then the right page starts the journey to Bangkok to Thailand. My first time in Thailand. I found these extremely expensive mangoes in Seoul, but I couldn't bring myself to pay that much money for a mango, especially because they were imported from Thailand and I was headed there next. So I didn't want to, I felt silly buying that many mangoes. Or that they had to buy all three and they were 10,000 won a piece. How much is 10,000 won? How much is that not going to do it? Korean won, perhaps? You suck. Never mind. I don't know how much 10,000 won is. Too much for mangoes. And then something we always do is eat ramen in bed. Anytime we're in an Asian country, we try to keep it as cheap as possible. We go to 7-Eleven, we get some ramen, we make a bunch of them with our tea kettle. We sit in bed and stuff our faces. That was actually our last night in Seoul. And then above is a mosque in Seoul. This is near the neighborhood of Itaewon. And if you're ever in Seoul, you can go to Itaewon and visit the mosque. And there's a Islamic or a Muslim neighborhood right behind with a lot of halal food shops immediately before. The update on this page says, Salam. I received word that 2 people we registered were able to leave yesterday before Rafah was attacked. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so there was $7 a piece times 3, so 21. That's just too much. $21 for 3 mangoes is insane. So literally, people were able to leave Rafah. Some of the people that we registered with Hala left the day Rafah was attacked, literally hours before they attacked the border, which is crazy. And then she follows up with, that's wonderful news. Which two? The border is closed now. I'm thinking the money so far can be used to support our families in Cairo, getting them apartments and places, furniture, food, things like that, like basic life essentials. The right side here starts with Bangkok. I say Bangkok is such a vibe. Huge recommend. Got to be one of my favorite cities I've ever visited. Easily the best food I've ever had in the world. No question. I love Thai food. And I've always loved Thai food before I even went to Thailand. But somehow it's even better in Thailand. And I don't understand why. I think it's because they don't wash the woks. I think because those woks are seasoned for generations. And it's just the most delicious. It's definitely not healthy though. The best delicious but healthy food, Vietnam. Healthier. Everything in Thailand is fried, super not good for you. Everything they said about Thailand is true, by the way. It's a magical place. And yes, Thai food can actually get better than your favorite Thai place down the street. I know it sounds crazy, but yes, it gets better. Just some beautiful snapshots. This part of the trip was very much vacation mode. I was no longer working on the Islamic art project, even though I did visit a few mosques and get photos anyway. But this part of the trip, I was with Anna, and I was wrapping up to just go places I had never been before. I had never been to Asia besides Japan and Korea, which Korea was right before this, and I just wanted to see Southeast Asia for the first time. And it's famous for go to the beach, relax, hang out. We found lots of private empty beaches in Phuket, which was really nice, and just relaxed on a very inexpensive rate. One of the cheaper places to visit for sure. Expensive to get there. Plane tickets are very expensive, but once you're there, you're talking like you can find places to stay for like $30 a night, easy. A delicious fruit stand with a really cute cat here that we saw every day, and that was in Phuket. Hong Kong photos. I love the photo on the top right, the butcher. I think that the vibe of the colors and the way the light is hitting and his pose is just like, that's a cool street photography shot. And I'm not very good at street photography, so to actually get one that I really like that, a shot that I like, is pretty cool. And then just other shots from Hong Kong. So Anna and I hired a photographer in Hong Kong to do some photos for us because it was our 10-year anniversary. So it was our 10 years of being together, and we got a photographer to take photos of us. I don't know if you can tell in the bottom right one, it's raining, so like you could see the raindrops with the neon lights. It's so dope. It's such an awesome shot. The update on this page is my cousin's daughter and her mom were evacuated. We evacuated them right before the Rafah border was attacked. So my cousin's daughters, after being reunited, the girl on the left stayed behind in Rafah with her mother for months before, because her father was kidnapped by the Zionists and they were waiting for good news. Basically, they just stayed behind trying to wait for good news, but we never heard from him. However, good news is he was actually freed during that ceasefire last month. He was part of the prisoner swap. So like the whole point of the war was the prisoners, right? The Palestinians captured prisoners to trade for our prisoners that we've already had, because Israel holds 10,000+ prisoners with no charges. They just kidnap people. Something like 60% of Palestinian men go to jail at some point in Israel. It's like a huge number. You're more likely to go to jail than not go to jail as a Palestinian man. So we didn't hear anything from him. No updates for months and months. We had assumed he was dead. And then we eventually evacuated his wife and his daughter. That's his daughter up there, because we assumed he was dead. It wasn't until last month that we heard that he was alive and that his name was one of the prisoners in the exchange deal, which was crazy news. Like you got to think about how insane that roller coaster of emotions must have been like for his wife. You know, like it was tough for us, but imagine how that was for his wife, dude. Like she escaped. We ended up evacuating her and her daughter. This is who we're talking about in the previous, when I say here that we got 2 people out right before, it was this child and her mother. And her mother is my cousin. And that's my uncle, so it's his daughter. The photos here are just street photography shots. I took that picture, Sweetheart Fresh Fruit Limited, and I wanted to capture the bright colors of it and then the bland grayscale of the shops immediately surrounding it. And the caption of the photo is, "This picture is what it feels like in my brain." Because when I looked at this, I was like, this is exactly what it feels like to be Abdul. Like this is the image in my brain. This is what it feels like to be me. And I'm surrounded by grayscale. Last stop, Hong Kong. So this is the last page. Wow, sad. With the support of my online community, I was able to help facilitate the evacuation and resettlement of nearly 20 people. Your support of this book and other donations reunited families and saved several children's lives. We continue to try to make a difference through the ongoing genocide. Better days will come. Until then, I am thankful for those around me. Someday I will make a book about a life in a free Palestine. And I wanted the last things in the book to be Free Palestine, even though it's not saying Free Palestine, but to say that the next thing will be a book about life in a free Palestine. And that is, that's Rami. That's one of the men. So we had already evacuated Maryam, this little girl, and her mom, Iman. But the dad stayed behind because it was too dangerous. As remember we talked about, it was too dangerous to take the men. So we separated this family to try to save the mom and child. And we eventually reunited them. And like, you guys helped. Like, you being a patron, you guys subscribing, buying from the shop, and supporting the GoFundMes and Venmos and everything we were doing at this time literally saved this family's life. You know, like, I didn't do anything but facilitate. And like, it was never supposed to be this serious. Like, it was never meant to be this serious. But I'm glad that my community was there for me through such a difficult time. And it's still, the war's still going, and it doesn't look like it's getting better anytime soon, unfortunately. But we continue to resist, and we continue to try our best to be there for people who need help. And then it closes with pictures of some beautiful flowers I saw in Spain. And it just says mas salama, which technically means goodbye if you were to translate it, but it literally means to go with peace, is how we say, because salam means peace, and ma means with, so it's with peace. You go. It could also be to like go with goodness, also, or like health. It could also even be that, but like I meant it as go with peace. Arabic's a little bit abstract sometimes. All right, let me see what happens when I switch cameras. Is this going to work even? Yeah, okay. So thank you for being here. I have like pictures and videos from the time I was doing all of this that didn't make it into the book because they're videos and you can't put videos in a book. That'd be cool, huh? I have ideas for what's to come. I have good ideas for what's to come. Let me show you just a couple of these. Thanks for being here, guys. This is the most turnout we've had on a zine stream. I'm really grateful. Thank you. By the way, while I have your attention, if you are not in the Zine Club and you want the physical copy of the book we just read, I ordered extras. Like when I first bought these, when I first like ordered the batch, I thought I was going to have more patrons by now, and I haven't been promoting it because like it feels really inappropriate to be promoting your shit in the midst of a genocide. So it hasn't grown very much at all. If you are in the free tier or the $5 tier, or if you just want an extra, there's the secret shop. Just go back a few posts and you will find the secret shop with the secret password. But if you are not, all you have to do is join the Zine Club and you will get this as well as the next zine. And the next zine is Gharib fi kulli makan. It's a book of Palestinian poetry and corresponding with my photography. And the cover I just revealed on Patreon the other day. It's an amalgam of photos of mine. And the title is A Stranger Everywhere. And we're going to have some cute merch that goes around the stranger, just this first word here, the stranger theme. So I want to make like a cute hat and maybe like a tank top or something that just says stranger in Arabic, Gharib, which I think would be pretty cool. It took me a long time. I'm like trying to get more creative with the covers, as you can tell. Like I'm starting to like add a little bit of Photoshop. I'm learning, taking this. I always try to force myself to learn something new every time I make a zine. It's such a good opportunity to like force yourself to grow. All right, let's try this. Hold on. These are like not in any order. Okay, here's a cool. Wait, no, not that one. This one. So this is inside the mezquita. So this was a mosque turned into a cathedral that I showed you in the early pages. This is in Cordoba, Spain, the first international destination on this journey, and you can just see the intricate Catholic artwork, and this is attached to a mosque. Isn't that so strange? These didn't save in any particular order, which is really frustrating. Oh my god, this is so funny. I was at this Catholic goods shop because I saw this sick purple cloak, and then look what I saw. And the shit looked right at me. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? This is before I knew what was happening. I was so scared. Taken aback. Hold on. There might be audio on some of these. Let me mute this music. Where's the music at? Because I'm pretty sure there was like some audio to that. I don't even remember. I'm going to have to turn up this audio. What's going on here? Oh no. The oh no. when you realize walking around one of the Alcazars in Spain. This is Islamic style artwork, Moorish artwork. You can tell by the beautiful tessellations, the tile work, and the arches, these shapes of arches. Isn't that just absolutely stunning? Spain is a very special place. Look at that Arabic calligraphy. You'll notice in the next zine that the background pages... Ooh, do you guys want to see some part of the next? No. We'll think about it. Those are some capriotes. Fucking, that turned out, by the way, who do you think is behind the cloak? Any guesses on who this guy is? Because I got the reveal later, and I was like, what? It felt like a WWE match when I finally saw who it was. I think it's pretty obvious now in retrospect that it's definitely Jesus. I was like, who could that be? No, it's not Christopher Columbus. Although I did see his tomb. Bro, the music and the drums. All the candles are out because it's pouring rain. I don't know if you can tell that it's raining a lot in this. Like, it is pouring rain. So they're holding those, and they're supposed to be candles. Even inside here, those lanterns are supposed to be lit, but everything was soaked. It's like a WWE match. The drama. The drama. I loved being there for Semana Santa. Just beautiful, walking around Cordoba. I got better ones. Abdul Klux Klan. Don't clip that. Look how beautiful that color is. I got trapped in an alleyway. Like, I literally could not leave. This was the next night. Listen to the music. This is a band playing live as they do. They carry these extremely heavy... I don't know what it's called. This is in Malaga, Spain, coastal city on the southern coast. I'm literally jam-packed in here with hundreds of people. And like, I couldn't move an inch in any direction here. I didn't mind. And I can't explain how loud the music is. Fucking banger. I love Catholics. I don't care what anyone says about Catholics. Yeah, they do some shady stuff, but artwork-wise, no one does it like them. So they had cops like clear the streets. These are just the regular streets of Malaga. And they like cleared them out with horses and then forced us into these. I was there with two patrons. Two of my subscribers met up with me in Spain. We hung out all day and then finished the night with this. And the procession just goes and they just play this amazing music. Oh, there's the band. I thought about asking if I could participate. Like, I'll sign up for a brotherhood. What the fuck? This is look how cute they are. This is the schedule, and they got their little guys. I found this really adorable. This was I stayed in an Airbnb. I stayed with a nice lady named Marta that had to have been Malaga. And her name was Marta, and it was fun to practice my Spanish with her, even though Spain Spanish is a lot different than Mexican Spanish, which is what I've been learning. Catholic chips, they were delicious. Nuestra Señora del Carmen.
I'm here in the Hippodrome of Constantinople, and
back
behind me we have
to
a
Istanbul.
real Egyptian obelisk. So As you see, the hieroglyphs, they kind of just end here, which is not typical of an Egyptian obelisk. And the reason for that is... Oh, sorry, buddy. I just hit someone.
Oh, I stopped recording because I straight up like smacked someone as I was pointing behind me. I try to take the same selfie every time I see an obelisk. Hanging out in Turkey with Anna. Those were all in the zine. Just minarets everywhere. Everywhere you look, you'd see a minaret sticking out. Oh, the architecture is stunning in Turkey. Stunning. Oh my gosh, this... Wait, can anyone guess what this is? Take a look at this. I won't tell you. Take a look at this. I can zoom in a little bit. Maybe. Let me know if you have any guesses to what this is. Here's a little bit of a zoomed in view. Ooh. And I'll zoom around. Give me your guesses in chat. What do you think this is? And this is the top half. Look how cool this is. What do you suspect this artifact is? This is an ancient artifact. Over 1,000 years. It is a world map, yes. Not the whole world. Eastern Hemisphere, let's say. What is the purpose of this instrument? Any guesses? Compass? Any other guesses? You're halfway there. Yeah, you're halfway there. That's the other half. Your name's pronounced Micaiah, right? I remember it was in your bio on Twitter. I just don't want to say it wrong. I want to be respectful. So one of you got it halfway and one of you got the other half. Someone says it looks like a huge compass. And someone said a way to calculate time in Mecca. This is a compass so that you can determine exactly which way you need to pray to face Mecca. So it is a compass not that tells you this is north. It is a compass that tells you this way is the way to pray towards Mecca, for Muslims to pray in the correct direction. So this is an incredibly complex instrument, navigational instrument, specifically for finding your way to pray in the correct direction. Isn't that neat? This was in the Islamic Art Museum in Istanbul. I thought that was pretty cool. Like, these are all at the bottom here. If you're in a specific city, there's a number that is corresponding to the city. You don't adjust it because Mecca doesn't move. You move this thing based off of what the compass tells you and the corresponding number of the nearest city that you're in. Yeah, so depending on which city you're in determines. Yeah, aren't the details amazing? Like, look at the flowers on the edge there, the beautiful handwriting, legible, easy to read. Even the numbers are corresponding. So you could say like, okay, I know I'm in this general region, but I don't know what my nearest city is. You could find that and then find the number down here and then correspond that. Isn't that neat? I think that is just so cool. Anna. Oops. I love this picture. That turned out awesome. And because it was sunset, you could hear all of the calls to prayer from the minarets. Pretty cool. Ortaköy Mosque. This was the wallpaper of the month while I was in Turkey. I remember getting this shot and be like, oh, buddy, that's a wallpaper right there. Found a cool maiden tee in Istanbul's bazaar. Great place to get knockoffs, by the way. I think this shirt was $4. Pretty cool. Inside one of the mosques. The privilege of being Muslim is you get to go in the mosque. You don't get to just be in the view. There's a viewers area for tourists, but as a Muslim, I get to go in and pray and hang out. Look at this artwork, guys. Cool thing about Turkish mosques is you can hear in the background. See, that's where all the tourists are, back there behind the gate. And in the background, you hear a hafiz, which is someone who has the entire Quran memorized. You can see him sitting right there, and he's reciting Quran. And then he has under him, this is his apprentice, who is studying to memorize the entire Quran, and he has the Quran open in front of him in case the hafiz makes a mistake to correct him. See that? This is the minbar. So this is where you would give the sermon, the Friday sermon, at the top of this stair set. That's the biggest minbar I've ever seen in my life, bro. That's just so extra. Just listening to the Quran and just hanging out. Cool thing about mosques is you could just hang out there. Like you can go in there, take a nap, relax, wait until the next prayer, read Quran, just hang out. This is the call to prayer. Same mosque. How often does the apprentice actually have to correct him? I never heard them actually correct him while I was there. I guess he wouldn't be a very good hafiz worthy of an apprentice if he needed a lot of correcting, I suppose. It might be a surah or a chapter that they don't review often, so it could be more for that. This is inside the Hagia Sophia. So this was the largest Byzantine church ever for 1,000 years. And then after the fall of Constantinople, it was turned into a mosque. And then it turned into a museum. And then recently, it turned into a mosque again. So that's inside the Hagia Sophia. This is the iconic building of Istanbul. This is prayer inside the Hagia Sophia. It was like 4 rows of people. So I was at the very front of the Hagia Sophia praying. During Ramadan too. Isn't that cool? Like right at the front, very small crowd. So this is the iqama. What he's reciting there is called the iqama, which is the actual call to prayer. A lot of people think that the adhan is the call to prayer, but technically that's like a warning that the call to prayer is imminent. So usually we have the adhan. That's the one that everyone hears. That's the one that they amplify through the cities. Like if you're in a Muslim country, that's the adhan. That's technically not the call to prayer. It's a heads up that the call to prayer is imminent, and it's usually 10 minutes after. And the actual call to prayer doesn't happen over the speakers. It happens in the mosque because you should be there to pray. Just so you know, that's not a very known fact.
Finally made it to Hagia Sophia. This used to be the biggest cathedral in the world for almost 1,000 years before the Ottomans took over Constantinople and turned it into a mosque.
I already said that, dumbass.
In 1934, they turned it into a museum, and recently it was reconverted from a museum into a mosque again. It's interesting because we went to La Mezquita de Córdoba, which was a mosque, and then it was converted into a cathedral, and now it's a museum, and then this one the other way around.
It's interesting seeing the patterns, right, of conquest being like, no, your religion sucks. This is my religion's now. And it happening both ways. In Islam, you're not supposed to do that. That's actually forbidden in Islam, to take a church and turn it into a mosque against the will of the people who believe in Christianity is a huge no-no. So technically they weren't supposed to, but it's not my fault. I just went there to take pictures. Don't put that on me. But you're not supposed to do that. There's actually a famous, I'm going to butcher the story. I'm not going to say it right. But Omar, specifically the caliph, the first caliph after Prophet Muhammad, he set that precedent by refusing to pray in a church, because when he got to, where was it? Was it Palestine? I don't know the story. I'm going to ruin this story. He like got to Palestine or something, and the Christians invited him to pray. And he said, no, if I pray there, then Muslims might try to turn this place into a mosque because I prayed here. I'll pray next door. And now there's a church and a mosque right next door to each other as a symbol of coexistence. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to take over religious spaces.
Just made it to new country. It's my hotel room. Just wanted to give you a quick tour. I wonder if you can guess where I am.
Bruh.
Let's fucking go!
Bruh. That still puts a smile on my
Pyramid
face.
of Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure.
This hotel
And
was like
Sphinx.
$30 a night. I was in such a good mood. I've always wanted to stay. Look at this fucking face. Get that shit out of here. I always wanted to stay at a hotel with a view of the pyramids. Because when I was a kid, I never got to go to the pyramids. Even though we live like 20, 30 minutes away from them, when I would go to Egypt, I would go there to learn Quran and to learn Arabic. So I'd be there to memorize Quran and learn Arabic. And if I didn't memorize enough Quran, I wasn't allowed to do anything fun. And guess what? I never memorized enough Quran. Turns out I have a learning disability, but we didn't know that. We didn't know that. We just thought I was dumb at the time. So I was never allowed to go to the pyramids. Literally until I was like a teenager was the first time I went to the pyramids. An Egyptian who lives 30 minutes from the pyramids was never allowed to go. So this time when I went to the pyramids every day that I was in Cairo. I was first in line to buy tickets, and I was first in line at the pyramids, and I woke up right in front of them every day just to like, you don't have to go multiple times. Once you go once, like you've seen it, it is what it is. But I just love Egyptology. So I went every single day that I was in Cairo. Nobody could tell me no. There were a few cool documents in some of the Greek monasteries I visited that were like orders from the Ottoman caliphs telling people not to interfere with the monks. Yeah, see, that's how you're supposed to be in Islam. Like, you have to be very, tolerant of other beliefs. Obviously not every Muslim ruler followed those rules, because there are examples of not that. But that's not how we were taught. That's not how it's supposed to be. That's the view from my aunt's roof, the pyramids through the fucking smog in Cairo. Isn't that crazy? They're just right there. They're just right outside the city. And I wasn't allowed to go. Can you imagine the torture, the mental torture that had on me? There's a picture. That's crazy, bro. Hi, Anna. That's the view from that hotel room that I showed you. They have a really great rooftop where you can just have some tea, a meal, hang out, and enjoy the beautiful, great pyramids of Giza. Are you kidding me? I did that every night. That's my cousin Abdurrahman. This is the smallest pyramid. You can look at the difference in scale. That's the biggest pyramid. This is the smallest. Oh my God, I got pictures, bro. I didn't know that King Tut was at the old Egyptian museum. The one, like it used to be the biggest museum for antiquities, but they're moving most of the things to the newest museum, the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, which is going to be the biggest museum in the world, and it opens this summer. And I went to the old big museum in Cairo, in Tahrir, and I didn't know that King Tut was there. And when I tell you, bro, I started shaking in excitement to actually see King Tut's treasures, because I never got to see them as a kid. I went to the museum one time, literally only one time. I was good enough and memorized enough Quran to go to the Egyptian museum. And this motherfucker was in America on tour. They were like touring the coffin around, and I didn't even get to see it. I got to see some of the treasures, like the throne and stuff. I have pictures with that as a kid. But I never got to see like the golden masks and stuff. So I got really emotional finally seeing this for the first time. That was a really special thing for me. And you're not allowed to take pictures in here, but I sweet talked the guards by saying, "That's my grandpa." And he goes, "That's all of our grandpa." And I'm like, "Exactly. So I should be allowed to take a photo." And he's like, "Whatever." So I got high resolution shots of the back of his mask, specifically because there's no good high resolution photos of the back of his mask. And I've been looking for literally years. and I got just photos of the textures on his coffin. This is exquisite 18th dynasty art. This is the pinnacle of Egyptian art, in my opinion. Technically, precision gets a little bit better in like the 21st to 23rd-ish dynasty, but the character of 18th dynasty art is exquisite. It's meticulous. It's beautiful. It's the best. Nothing beats 18th dynasty art. That's my grandma. That's Teta. Habibti Teta. Went to go see her in Cairo.
I'm finally back to work. I had a lot of family obligations that were a wonderful way to spend my time, but I'm here to photograph mosques.
I made my own merch for this trip, if you didn't see. The Maneko Stevie with the Japanese.
Mosque here in Islamic Cairo. This is my neighborhood. This is my mom's neighborhood. This is where we grew up. And I'm excited to be here because they're letting me go up the minaret, which I'm super, super, super stoked on.
If you see me smiling that big, it means I'm in Egypt. Like, if I'm ever just fucking smiling ear to ear, you could be like, oh, he's in Egypt.
I'm at the top of the minaret in the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, one of the oldest mosques in all of Egypt. This was an ancient Muslim capital, and the architecture here is over 1,000 years old. So
I'm strapped up with cameras. I got like 3 cameras on me there, working on this, the next zine. It's not. I don't think it's gonna be the next one. I honestly don't know.
This is my neighborhood. Like, this is my hood.
Oh, I love Egypt. This is not the call to prayer, technically, remember? This is the adhan, the warning to the call to prayer. This is the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, one of the oldest mosques in Egypt. I got a really beautiful photo here, actually. What are all these? Oh, that's Al-Azhar Mosque. This is probably the most beautiful architecture in all of Cairo, actually. Let's see what these videos are. Oh, I'm getting fitted for my tarbush. I was asking if I had a big head. I got a tarbush made in Egypt. I made a really cool video about this on my Instagram. If you didn't watch it, I would encourage you to. This is one of the oldest, one of the only remaining artisans of the traditional Ottoman-style tarbush hat in all of Egypt. So I went and got one made for me. Custom made, and I photographed as they worked on it. It was really cool. So I made a whole video about this, about like the process of how they iron it. All of this gear is hundreds of years old, and this shop's been there for hundreds of years. And it just shows the way they spray it down and iron it and mold it to your head. So it's made of wool. It's like a thick wool, and then the inside is straw. It's really cool, and I try to always buy like a local handcrafted piece of art because I want my office to be a museum. So I have art from all over the world, all over my office. I have been thinking about making little plaques for it. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm going to do that eventually. And it's just like him making it, sewing it together, putting it all together, and getting it perfect. That's one of the cooler things that I've done. The stars on the ceilings of the tombs. Visiting tombs in Luxor, Egypt. Just hit the bomb. Wait, who's naming? Oh, Grova.
Finally here at the
I thought you were my mom, bro. I was like, wait.
Hatshepsut,
I thought
my favorite pharaoh. And it's both one of the most amazing sights in Egypt and in many ways one of the saddest. Hatshepsut was a female king, the female falcon is what she was called. And during her reign, she did many amazing things, including massive building projects such as this mortuary temple. My favorite thing that she did, actually, was that she sent an expedition to the land of Punt. Now, right now, in current times, we don't actually know where the land of Punt is. People think it's either Ethiopia or Yemen. And typically, when expeditions would go to the land of Punt, they would bring back frankincense and myrrh. But Hatshepsut did it a little bit differently. She said, fuck that, don't bring me the frankincense and myrrh.
bring back the whole tree. And there's artwork here depicting exactly that, how they cared for the roots of the plants during the long expedition back to Egypt, and how they planted them and made a garden of exotic trees here in Egypt. So one of the coolest feats of any pharaoh. She was, in my opinion, the baddest bitch in all history. Get out of here. And I'm thrilled to be here. This is a dream come true, and that's like saying it's a dream come true to be at the mortuary temple of Hatshepsut is such an understatement. I am psyched right now. Look at her, that's my girl. This is just a massive, massive statue that had fallen over and no one's been able to get it back upright. I can't put into words how huge it is. عبود وقف جنب التمثال هذا عشان افرجيهم قديش كبير. Look at this. See, I'm making him stand next to it. It's huge. You can see that it's been on its back for a long time because it's eroded. Wow. Yeah, amazing. I'm here at the Temple of Hathor at Dendera, and I'm finally seeing something I've always wanted to.
I don't know how I muted myself.
Zodiac. This is the most complete ancient map of the night sky, and it depicts a number of things, including the 5 known planets to the ancient Egyptians in an orientation that only happens once every 1,000 years, a solar eclipse, a lunar eclipse, and the pole star. So this is an extremely detailed night sky map that the ancient Egyptians installed here at the Temple of Hathor. And in the 1800s, when the French realized how important this artifact was, what do you think they did? They put dynamite in all of the corners, they blew it up, and they stole it and put it in the Louvre. So I actually saw it in the Louvre 2 years ago and have been longing to see where it came
Those
from ever
motherfuckers.
since, and that's why it doesn't match the limestone that's around it. This is a replica.
They really took that, they blew it up and took it to to France, bro. And I actually have photos of the original too. So that's like a map of it, and that's the original. I took this photo 2 years prior in the Louvre. Like, what? What do you mean you blew it up and stole the Zodiac? You can't do that. You can't just take it. Rude. Wait, where were we at? Korea. This is a famous library / bookstore in Korea. And I don't think anyone buys anything here. I think everyone just comes here to take photos.
Actually buys anything here?
Literally, I don't think anyone buys anything in that shop. I think they just look around at the beautiful shelves and get videos of themselves going up. Like, look at the very beginning. Like, someone's just getting a shot of herself going up the escalator. It's just the influencer spot. The Insta spot.
You think anyone ever actually buys anything here?
I don't think he's not hurting at
We
all.
stayed-
I think he's just
We stayed at an aviary
He's like sniffing me.
and
in
just
Bangkok.
sniffing, and he's done it a couple times, but he just does it and then he goes away, and it is very scary.
Yeah, so there's a fucking falcon that lands on you out here, and he just like hangs out with you.
Hurting at all. I think he's just checking me out.
I think he's like sniffing me.
And just sniffing, and he's done it a couple times, but he just does it and then he goes away.
Kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie.
Very scary.
But he doesn't hurt you or anything.
No, not at all. It's just like okay, yeah, he's just doing his thing, and then he goes away.
Bro, when we first got here, I was literally on these stairs with wearing 2 backpacks, one on the front, one on the back, and he landed on the backpack, and I was so scared for a moment. Wow, this looks...
I just had to be
Look at this
honest with you.
aviary we
Since the
stayed
first
at.
time, it's not
These are
scary
all
anymore.
just
Like,
all
oh,
kinds
we
of
were just
exotic
saying-
birds live here.
We were just saying we got it. There it is. We were just saying we got to have get the camera out specifically. Oh, there it is.
His name is George. He was pretty cool. Oh, just eating street food in Bangkok.
Getting pad thai made for me right now.
You can tell how hot
I'm
it
sweating
is.
my ass off.
It's oppressively hot and humid out there.
There's Hannah.
Look how good this looks, bro. Fucking Old Town Road playing and some pad thai. What more do you need in life?
Eating a gyoza. On the
Look how
street
sweaty
side.
we are. In every shot here is just sweaty. Gyoza, fried gyoza on the streets in Bangkok.
Yeah. Just took a bite of
Crocodile meat, hot pot.
What did you think?
Eating Would you eat crocodile?
I think I'm gonna go for another piece.
Describe it.
And it definitely, it's okay, I know this is gonna sound ironic, but they were talking about it, and apparently people eat that instead of pork, but honestly, it reminds me a little bit more of chicken. I think I cooked it a little too long, so I'm gonna pay attention more to this for the 3-minute time. I think it was over 3 minutes, and it was a little, like a little bit like overcooked chicken, a little bit.
Yeah, so look at what it looks like. It almost kind of looks like chicken, but so they started eating crocodile in Thailand and Southeast Asia as a way to cut down on eating pork. Apparently, it's a nutritious and healthy meat, and there's nothing wrong with eating crocodile. So we ordered a plate of it, and we ate it, and it was fine. It was fine. I mean, anything that in hot pot, like look at this. We got 3 different hot pots. They're just boiling. If you've never had hot pot, you should. I love hot pot.
Talking about it, and apparently people eat that.
Ooh.
Oh my god, it's super hot.
This is all just food from Thailand. Fried rice inside a pineapple
How is it?
with bits of pineapple chopped into it even.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
She's been obsessed with this
Oh,
ever
yeah.
since
Oh my God,
we were in
that's right.
Thailand. She actually tried making something very similar just last
There was
week.
no description on this. It was just. Here you go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, give me. We've been in Hong Kong for a day and a half now.
This is
and
a
I
mess
think
from
both
all the
of our
places.
Favorite thing is the scaffolding. It's all made of bamboo, and like we keep seeing it, and we're just like, whoa! Look at this scaffolding.
It's bamboo.
It is pretty cool. Like, look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool for such a futuristic city. Is like all their scaffolding is just bamboo. Makes sense. This is a Dai Pai Dong, and there are only a few Dai Pai Dongs left in Hong Kong. This is a traditional street food vendor. It's basically an open air restaurant. So, not a street food vendor like a stall. It's a restaurant, but it's open air, and they cook open air, and you're seated open air. And this is one of the last Dai Pai Dongs in all of Hong Kong. And we went there. This was probably my favorite meal that we had the entirety of this trip. Anna did not get to enjoy it because she had food poisoning from the hotel breakfast. Rip. What else here? Did I get through all
Finally
these?
here.
That might have been everything.
I look ridiculous. Everyone's looking at me now. I look like a tourist. Before I was
In my
feeling
Iron
just
Maiden
fine.
shirt and my Tata Blue
Now
like
they're
a
looking
fucking
at me like-
idiot.
بص عامل ازاي؟ بص بص مورد القصور الملكية
The place that I got it, this is the place that I got the tarbush made. I was there the night before, and they used to make them for the Ottoman royal family. And he's showing me the Ottoman royal family and that they were the official royal maker of these hats. And that's why I came back the next morning to get one made because they were just closing. You could tell it's nighttime.
بص عامل ازاي؟ بص بص
My uncle's so funny, bro.
مورد القصور الملكية الملكية
And Malakiya, the royal makers of hats, is what he's like trying to emphasize there. Well, that's it. Shareholder meeting went well, I would say. I have some ideas for what's to come. I have some pretty fun ideas in terms of the projects I want to do. But to be completely honest, I'm a little bit scared to travel. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit... So, okay, can I tell you guys what I want to do for a zine? I haven't told y'all because it's a really big departure from what I do now. But I feel like it's time to level up a little bit. I kind of want to tell you. Should I just tell you? I'm going to tell you. So there's a genre of music that I've been really passionate about the last year and a half, and it's Tuareg music. It is... it's better to just show you, huh? Let me just show you. They call it the desert blues, and it is guitar kind of inspired by like Jimi Hendrix types, but they sing in the Tuareg language, and the Tuaregs are a nomadic desert peoples from the Sahel region of Africa. So think Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, southern Algeria, that region of the Sahara Desert. And the music is fucking excellent. And I really want to go photograph some of these musicians and bands and record both video, and I want to record my own playlist for the zine. We've done a playlist before with the Rapa Nui zine, but I want to record it myself. And I think it would be really cool to go with like microphones and equipment. Listen to this. There's nothing like it. There's no music like it. So I've been in contact with musicians in Africa to network with and just record them in the desert playing their music and make a book about this genre of music. And I think it'd be a really cool level up, like make some videos and record music to go with the book. That's a crazy level up. Which is why I haven't said anything, because it's a huge commitment. I think I could do it. I could turn it into a tiny documentary. I'm thinking of like hiring a video person to come with me and just paying them to video me and be in charge of like some of the audio stuff. And we just go fuck around in the desert and record music. Like how cool would that be, guys? To have a zine with a corresponding like CD or playlist that they go together. And like I would make everything. I would make the music too. So this is the general gist of the style of music. Another really good one is I've watched this video maybe 1 billion times. I've actually played this on stream before. He's a pretty popular guitarist now. So this is a project I really, really, really feel so passionate about doing. Like, I love that they wear their traditional outfits and they're just like shredding on fucking Stratocasters. Like, how cool is this? Everything about it is cool. The thing that's so cool about it is that they play in scales that are not necessarily common or even exist in Western music. So a lot of the time we hear these scales that are very similar and we don't know it, but if you listen to a lot of music, you do know it. Things like the minor pentatonic scale. You probably don't know what that means technically, but you can recognize it when you hear it. They play in completely different scales. So you can't mentally predict what the next notes are going to be or what notes live in the family that are being played within a song, the key. So it's really fascinating. It's really, really fascinating. I love this stuff. That's the project I feel super passionate about that I really want to do in North Africa. So I was thinking about getting this next zine shipped and just heading to France and then heading to North Africa from there. Well, imagine I turn into low-key a music producer for just one zine. Just dabble in it one time. I think I could do it. I think if anyone could do this, it's me. I've left several comments on this video. Bye, love you. Go Pats. Renaissance man. I don't know about that, but I just like to have fun. I just like to be creative. Well, anyway, my friends, honestly, that's it. It was the read-along, and I hope you had fun, and I hope that this was something that made you feel like you were supporting someone who knows what the fuck they're doing, who's passionate about what they're doing, and that you're happy with what I am putting out there. I give a lot of effort into these zine projects, and I'm deeply passionate about the work that I do, and I'm immensely grateful that I get to do it. So thank you for being subscribed to my Patreon. if you are on the free tier or on the shareholder tier, you should upgrade to the Zine Club. If you're on the Zine Club tier, I wouldn't be mad if you upgraded to sponsor. Even if it's just for a month or two, then you can go back to the Zine Club. That would help me out quite a lot. I'm thinking about making some fun merch that goes with the theme of the title, which is Gharib fi kulli makan. So merch that says stranger in Arabic with like a cool glowing purple font that I had designed. So thank you for continuing your support of my Patreon. It really means the world to me that I get to do what I'm passionate about for a living. What a blessing. I say alhamdulillah probably 1,000 times a day, at least 100. I'm glad that this was fun. I'm really glad. It wasn't, I thought I was going to cry a bunch, but honestly, like I got most of that out of the way making the next zine. Well, my friends, thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you next time. I love you guys so much, and I'll be on Twitch, so make sure you're on my Discord. If you're not, you should join, and you'll get the notifications when I go live on Twitch, because on the Twitch streams, I'm no longer going to be like pushing it on Twitter very much. I think it's just I'm going to keep it to the community, the people who already follow. I'm not really interested in bringing in any new people. It's just there's a lot of people trying to like we had some issues with like a stalker and people trying to like dox me for speaking up for Palestine, and it's just been really unpleasant. So if I'm going to be doing these things online, I kind of just want it to be closed in with my community, at least for now. So thank you for being there. I love you guys. Yeah, I mean, you just gotta keep it safe. All right, y'all. I love you. I'll catch you later.